In the heart of the urban jungle, a unique species of Homo sapiens thrives. Identified by their common adornments, the humble hoodie, their peculiar yet endearing rituals involving ping-pong tables, and an astonishing amount of free coffee. The startup Homo sapiens.
I'm no David Attenborough, but I know a thing or two about startups. For example, did you know they don't run on coffee alone?
I'm here to guide you on an extraordinary journey. Our new Twitch series, AWS Let's Build a Startup. Together we shall observe how an idea evolves, grows and matures into a real minimum viable product. All of this within the AWS ecosystem. Whether it's the thirst of knowledge guiding you or simply your passion for free caffeine. Join me on this fascinating journey.
Hey, hello founders. Welcome back to AWS Let's Build a Startup. This is your weekly 1-hour show, peeking behind the scenes of formidable startup success stories, building, of course, with us on AWS. In store for today, I have a very special episode that I'm really proud about. I'm here with Chief Evangelist Jeff Barr and my co-host, Kevin Schaefer-Morrison. We are about to get on stage with our friends from Lovable, only the fastest growing startup in human history. And so, hey, Jeff, thank you so much for being here at 6 a.m. in your Seattle morning. Somebody on my team advised me that this was a very bad move for my career. But I think that you're as excited as I am to have Lovable here. And I wanted to ask you, can you share what makes you so excited about Lovable?
Sure, and I'm super happy to be here. And what I love about Lovable, pardon the pun, is this idea that we're actually democratizing building, and we're allowing more people with great ideas to go from great idea to actually building something. And we can think of it as really like the technical co-founder for the entrepreneur. And earlier this year, I was traveling and a journalist asked me about this idea of startups being able to grow really quickly, kind of centered around the builder versus having an entire org. And I kind of on the spot came up with this phrase I called the uni-unicorn, one person building the billion-dollar startup. And it kind of came out just kind of on the spur of the moment. But I honestly do think it's within the realm of possibility that we can have one person sitting at their desk with an AI-powered tool building a billion-dollar company. And I think we can look at Lovable itself. We can look at the unbelievable growth that they've experienced already. They went from $1 million in annual recurring revenue to over $100 million in 8 months, which is utterly astounding. I mean, Kevin, what do you think of that idea?
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense. Like I think back to my career in software engineering, like I would always need other people to build the user interface, the integration between the front back, the authentication, all of those things. And I think just this morning I spent like a few minutes and built something full stack by myself on Lovable easily enough. And it's crazy how far we've come in just that amount of time. But also, I think today it's going to be exciting because we're also looking at ways we can integrate and use things like AWS for our backend to expand, what you can make with these applications, since there's so much stuff you can do there at the moment. So I think Giuseppe is going to show us something cool there. But there's also this really interesting topic of, security and responsible AI and making sure that whatever it is you're building actually, can scale, can be secure. Because Jeff, as you said, if you're going to build that next billion-dollar company, it does need to be secure. I think we all agree with that
Sure.
concept. But yeah, I mean, just the concept of building something so quickly now is really, really cool, and excited to see more about it. How about you, Giuseppe?
Yeah. Well, on top of all of that, because this is all like fantastic insights, but I'm also really interested as a community builder myself to learn a bit more about how they have engaged a completely different demographic of builders. I think that this is what we would call like non-traditional builders, right? So we have non-technical co-founders that maybe wanted to dip their toes into actual doing the build out of the the product they have thought about and they're doing market research on. And I think the Lovable gets them there and closer to the first step to going to market or to product market fit really quickly. And by the way, folks, I was talking about community. I just wanted to thank you so much for all of the questions that you've been sending us via LinkedIn or via the AWS community. No, that was a year ago. It's actually the AWS Builder Center now. So we had a few questions coming over there, but we will have some time towards the end of the stream, or while we're waiting for Lovable to think about what to write next, to maybe answer some of your questions. So please do keep on coming, because we really want to give you the chance to speak and peek behind the scenes of Lovable. So yeah, I guess maybe Jeff, we can start bringing on our guests to our stage.
Sure. So for our audience, we love your questions. And in addition to your questions, please feel free to let us know where you are watching from. It's always awesome to see these connections coming in from around the world. So let us know where you are. Let us know what you'd like to learn about Lovable. Tell us about your use cases you're thinking about. And if you've built something already, let us know. And let's bring on our guest. Let's bring on Brenton Anderson. He manages community engagement at Lovable. Welcome, Brenton. And we're going to bring on Harry McKay Roper. He's the CEO at Imaginary Space. He is distinguished as the very first Lovable power user. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, folks. Absolutely.
Appreciate
Super excited to have you here, folks. So in a nutshell, can you tell us that there were a few people asking, what is Lovable? Is it a low-code platform?
No code. So Lovable is just a prompt-based app builder. Uses AI to build your apps for you. You just type in there, I want an app that does this. Magic happens. Then you have an app. It sounds easy enough. There's a learning curve like anything. Practice becomes perfect. But the end goal is eventually our app will increase its capabilities to the point where you won't have that learning curve anymore.
Yeah, well, that's super interesting to see how it's gonna develop. And Harry, I think you've been the first power user of Lovable, and while we were like trialing and doing some tests, you told me that Lovable in a way has changed your life. Can you shed a little bit of light about that?
Yeah, sure. So pleasure to be here, everyone. Hi, everyone watching the stream. Basically, 2 years ago, I found Lovable, but it was called this project called GPT Engineer, which was open source. I was just perusing GitHub to find some interesting things, and decided to try the project out. I made a Pong clone, and it was really fun, and I was amazed that I could make something with just prompting. But back then, it cost $1.20 per prompt, so you can imagine how costly it was to get a basic Pong version going. Since then, though, Lovable has really changed. Obviously, it became Lovable other than GPT Engineer, and with that, the technology as well. And all of a sudden we found, or I found that a lot of the people I was working with really had this appetite for being able to build software in a very short amount of time to solve their problems. And after working with a lot of individuals, both in the US and Europe, I've managed to grow our team now from, well, just starting with me to 16, and we're still growing. And all through this really cool, I would say, explosion of growth from AI. So really excited to be here.
Can we just describe you guys as the technical sales arm of Lovable at the moment? That'd be good. So I would say we're almost 10 minutes into the stream, and I'm itching for actually getting my hands dirty here. Actually, I think, Harry, you will get the dirtiest hands here today, but I would say, or maybe Lovable, I don't know.
Yeah.
So when we first met, I kind of tossed you this kind of challenge, and because I was thinking, look, with generative AI in our tool belt, I think that the next version or the next evolution of a Hello World is not really going to be, oh, how do I deploy my WordPress application to on an EC2 box? And actually, I think making your first dollar out there in the real world would be like more of a Hello World or something like that. So I'm super curious to learn or like to witness what you came up with today.
Sure, sounds good. Maybe I can start sharing screen and start building, but basically,
absolutely.
we have the awesome Jeff Barr here, and I was like, well, how do we make money utilizing Jeff as our money magnet, right? So I thought, well, what we could do is because we're doing Q&A today, maybe we could just make a little Q&A board, and then everybody can sign in, submit some questions, and then I was thinking what we could do then is maybe add a button to buy Jeff a coffee in this case, or they can buy priority for their question to be asked on top of the stack. So I think within 15 to 20 minutes we should be able to build this. Fingers crossed. There may be some gaps, so if you guys want to grab the mic, feel free to do so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll get my hands dirty and get started.
Sounds great. The only request I have is, can you zoom in a little bit? Because a lot of our folks are actually looking from like maybe a screen, or like not a screen, or like just like maybe looking on their phone. And by the way, I don't know what's happening in the chat, but there's I don't know, there's somebody recruiting somebody else, but you know, this happens on Let's Build a Startup. That's okay. We closed the deal I think a few seasons ago, but yeah, we did close the deal. And I guess Jeff, while Harry is actually setting this up, I know that we have a few questions coming up. Do you want to pick one and maybe start asking?
Sure. Let's see. We've got some great questions that came up ahead of time. Let's see. So I actually, let's kind of talk about this one. I love that came from JC Novoa via the Amazon Builder Center. So JC asked, how do we go from lovable to usable to prod by leveraging AWS resources? Kind of in this idea of translating the tech stack used with Lovable, including Supabase, into AWS managed cloud services such as RDS. I think that's a great kind of a big picture question to get started.
I'm actually going to point this one towards Giuseppe, because I know that he's just recently built something in AWS. He's got experience of doing this process exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I've understood about Lovable is that it deploys a single page application somewhere. I don't know exactly where. Maybe Brenton, you know about that. Magic. Okay. So what I actually came up with is actually making use of some of the UI libraries that we put together. So I'm talking about Amplify UI. And I'm actually thinking about making use of Cognito to create users that have an authenticator role on AWS, and then I would say scoping down the IAM permissions to, for example, the Cognito identity ID from the identity pool, and in that case, you would have a front end that is instrumented with valid AWS credentials that can send requests directly to the API. Of course, there are some security concerns associated with it. We'll have a look at this, I think, towards the end of the show today. But I guess that wrapping most of your valuable or vulnerable I would say business logic into Lambda functions, and then have those credentials only being able to invoke the Lambda function, or interact maybe directly with S3 for uploads and locking it down to your identity sub. That's kind of the route that I took. I'm still exploring. It's actually kind of new, and I had to steer Lovable to actually prefer AWS pure, let's call it that way, solutions instead of maybe relying on to Supabase as somebody or Supabase, sorry, as somebody was suggesting in the chat. But also let me move me down. So if we have any questions.
We did get that question from the schizophrenic web developer, if it's tied to Supabase, and it seems like the answer is not that it's fully tied to Supabase. You can then use other resources, like Giuseppe was just saying, right?
Correct.
So,
and you can also export the entire thing to GitHub and just build from there. If you've got that capabilities, you can connect it to any database essentially.
Yeah. So I'll show you some pretty pictures later. But thank you so much, JC, for that question. It was really good. Jeff, do you want to select another one and maybe add?
Sure. Actually, that same schizophrenic web developer asked, I think, a couple of really good kind of like starter questions. And it said like Lovable is like a no-code platform, and then I guess all Lovable apps look the same UI-wise. I mean, maybe a good time to kind of give the big picture here of what Lovable is all about.
Yeah, I'm happy to take this one. If you don't give it a clear design theme or direction, it's going to just create a generic template, which is, I guess you could say, what people call the lovable app design, that everything looks kind of similar. But there's so much opportunity there if you can be very contextual, use a lot of adjectives to describe the kind of vision you have. AI relies a lot on these words, rather than if you say, I want a blue screen and white text, you're just going to get Arial font and nothing's going to happen. But if you say, I want something bold and visionary and I want it to be fun and bright, you're going to see a completely different build. Harry, you're one of the experts in this field in terms of design. You're a former designer. How do you, as a former designer, come into this to build something that you think looks good from your point of view?
Well, there's a couple of tips that I can give. One of the prompts actually I'm running on screen now, which is to use Dieter Rams' 10 design principles. If you didn't know Dieter Rams, he was an industrial designer for Braun. He actually inspired a lot of Johnny Ive's designs for the Apple devices and products. And LLMs have a lot of these principles or famous people baked into their knowledge context, meaning that it's really easy to be able to refer to this and for the AI to pick up and know what it's doing. Dieter Rams' 10 principles are very simple. It's like use color whenever you should, use simple buttons. As you can see, it's really cleaned up my design already and made it a lot simpler. What we're also seeing at the moment, just from in the trenches on the front lines, is that design systems and having design systems set up before you even begin building a vibe coding project can really help in the long run, as it'll keep your design consistent. And it's always something you can point the AI to as context and say like, hey, look at this design system, use this when you're creating new components or new pages across the app. I can't tell you guys how many times we've got to the end of a project, tried to redesign, and it's an absolute nightmare. So I really recommend it as like a first step when you're building.
Yeah. In fact, we have a great comment from Marie. And Marie says, I tend to upload images of the design to follow on Lovable. Seems like a really good tip from a user.
Yeah. And as vision models get better, they're just going to get even better, like looking at the designs that we like. But it's a great first step if you really like something, like stealing it from the web and bringing it into your Lovable project really works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jeff, you might not be familiar, but you can just actually put the images in the chat there and say, I want something that looks like this. And it will start taking some context from that.
We are so far beyond the days of like mock-ups and specs and laboriously drawing wireframes and picking colors. And now we find something we like and we hand it over and say, make it like this, which is so much easier for the builder.
Yeah.
Make it like this, but better.
Yeah. And one of the things that I had actually ended up doing while I was building mine is just like dragging and dropping full pages of documentation into the chat context. So for example, I went to the Amplify UI documentation, just like, hey, I need you to use this authenticator. I need you to use this uploader. Just drag and drop, and yeah, it was kind of magic.
Wait. You dragged and dropped the documentation?
Yeah,
and
so well, copy paste actually. Like
okay.
I actually went back to my roots of like just copy pasting code from somewhere to somewhere else for a living. But now it's much faster, I guess.
I believe Harry might be able to correct me on this. Sorry, but you can just put the docs link in there and say review this article, and it will actually search the article for you.
All right.
So Giuseppe, it sounds like you're using your bit of background knowledge of like, oh, I should use this thing in doing it. How important do we think the knowledge of how to develop or what to develop is when using something like Lovable here? Like I come from a software engineering background. I did that for 10 years. So I'm probably the way I ask questions is going to be very different than someone who's never done that before. How important is that knowledge, or unimportant? Does it make it better? Yeah, what do you guys think?
I don't know. It was so again. I come with a background of software engineer. I have a bit of stuff. Like I did some research in the past. I did some embedding software development, and then I went fully into the cloud. So I've seen like various different ways of actually building software projects and various different stages. I think that what the kind of experience you get there in like building something without AI assisted tools, it's great to get the fundamentals, and I think it speeds up my software development cycle. I cannot give you numbers, but I couldn't have ever built the demo that I'm going to show you in a weekend without this sort of tools. But I think that knowing exactly what an AM role is, like how I should be configuring an S3 bucket. And by the way, I got bit again many times by cause. I don't know. I have a degree in physics, but understanding cause is still outside of my understanding. Sorry, folks. There are things that my brain just would not absorb. So I think that having an overview of exactly like how all of these components actually work. So I was talking about this is a single page application. I know what a single page application, but in that name, there's so much context, right? It's a JavaScript and HTML and a CSS application that it has been transpiled and bundled up with all of the dependencies into I don't know, an HTML file, one HTML file, one JavaScript file, blah blah blah. There's a lot there. So like the fundamentals are I think will speed you up. Otherwise, the other route is you will iterate on this, you will bump into a problem, maybe cores, for example, that you cannot get out as the technology stands up today. And you will have to learn about that. So I think that there's, Lovable for me, if I were to start all over again, it might be something like my first stepping stone into programming and into learning the fundamentals. Jeff, I really want your take on this as well.
Let's see. So I've actually found that there's this really interesting challenge where, as someone who grew up with kind of classic computer science and started programming computers in zeros and ones and progressed to assembly language to higher level languages, is there's almost all of that knowledge is useful, but in some senses it's not limiting, because knowledge is always helpful, but it kind of you have to think about what you want to have done with Lovable. You don't want to think too much about what's happening inside. And I've been trained for decades to think about what's inside. And suddenly it's like, you know what? The right thing's going to happen inside. Don't worry too much about it. Just concentrate on asking for what you want. And I've had to kind of almost like kick myself in the back of the head a couple of times and say, the insides, the algorithms, all that stuff. Yes, it's really cool to know about that. It's awesome to look inside. You don't have to actually be able to you don't have to do that in order to actually build something cool and successful.
I agree.
It's interesting. The way you say it is sort of the way I view it, kind of where you no longer need these technical skills. The skill you need to become good at is being a linguist. Your English skills, the wording that you use is going to be more important than the technical skills you have when it comes to Lovable.
It's absolutely more about communication. And I've been speaking to audiences all over the world this year about what I'm calling next generation software development. And I've been really emphasizing that your ability to be a human communicator and to effectively speak in human languages and to deeply understand what you want to build and the problem you want to solve, and to be able to express yourself in human languages, not in code and in data structures, but in human languages. It's super, super, super important.
It reminds me of a fun IT sort of training story of customer support specifically. You need to explain to someone how to make a sandwich. And the words you say is like, oh, grab a knife and spread something onto some bread. But what side of the knife are they going to grab? What are they going to spread on the bread? Are they going to spread on the sides? So being very clear with what you're saying is, as Jeff, you're saying, really important to be good at the language part of it and being clear and articulate with what it is that you're saying.
There's definitely two mindsets you need when it comes to using Lovable or any of these prompt-based things. I think there are, as you said, these times where you have to be explicitly clear. And then there are other times where it's more beneficial to be overly simple. So for me, when I'm coming to build something and I don't quite know what I want, I know I have an idea of, I want a fitness app, right? I could say, build a fitness app, and I want it to have this one feature. And I'll start with something very basic like that, and let AI try to determine what it thinks is best for me, and then I'll go back and forth.
Mhm.
Then I'll scrap the whole project and start from start, as you said, explicitly clear. I want this. Yeah, I like to let AI sort of run its own when I'm not sure what I entirely want yet. When I'm still in that discovery phase.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We've got a bunch of questions that came
Bring it
in
up.
during that. Should we try to answer a few of them here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's-
I'd also like to kind of get a quick status update from Harry and see how the app is coming along.
Yeah,
I see
it looks
I see
fantastic.
great things on the screen.
Jeff.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're getting there.
Yeah.
I would say that I've shared a link, so if anybody wants to come in and have a little test and try and drop a little question for Jeff, you're more than welcome to. Just
Mhm.
fixing some payment flow issues, which I didn't experience before stream, but as always, when you're demoing it, stuff happens.
The demo
but-
gods.
But pretty excited because in 10 minutes we built a little app that's published to a subdomain and people can start using, which I think is really a testament to how quickly you can build and ship stuff these days with these tools, which is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I honestly like. I mean, if I think about like 5 years ago, maybe I couldn't dream about this. This really wasn't possible. And by the way, folks, here is the. I know I'm hidden by Kevin right now on the screen, but you can just. It's okay. It's a lot of people here on the stream. So you can go to askjeff.lovable.app and maybe start asking some questions. I think I'm gonna do that as well. And somebody is actually posted their password test 123 on the stream. I think you might want to change that. I don't think that's a great security posture, but Alexander, apologies for
And when
security shaming you.
And when you do get to the screen, it may say there's a blank app. Just make a little account and then it'll bring you to the app. We're trying to move quickly here, so we'll focus on the real experience.
So we click to get started. There we go.
Yes,
Got
yes.
it. Okay.
There's a black button I think that says get
Got it.
started,
Okay.
make an account real quick, and then start asking Jeff every question.
And I guess. Oh, sorry.
We have
What was that?
10 visitors on our app already. Let's go.
Oh wow. Okay.
19 visitors. There we go. Nice. Amazing.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I
And
was going to say, Harry, you've got email confirmation on, just as a heads up. I'm not sure if you wanted to turn that off.
Oh, I will turn that off. Thank you.
so this is streamlining. I think it's streamlining the access to the app, but as a security. Yeah, as a security. What are you gonna ask yourself, Jeff?
Oh, let's see. I'm wondering what I'm going to do with all the coffee that people actually buy for me.
That's going to be the first question. How do you drink all this coffee?
I mean,
There we go. I just put that one in there.
I think if people keep dragging him out of bed at 6 a.m. I mean,
Nah, 6 a.m. is fine. I'm an early riser, so 6 a.m. is fine.
Okay, sounds good. So I think the question I have, it's been answered. So I was really, really worried about that, that you would be still mad at me for dragging you out here. But
should we ask Harry how, like, we were talking for 10 minutes, totally distracted. He built this app. People are using it. Also, the aesthetic just became really fun as well. But Harry, how did you get from nothing to this in 10 minutes? Like, can you walk us through at least the quick idea flow of what you did here?
Yeah, of course. So if I go back to Lovable, we can follow the prompts that I made, which were only about 5, honestly, to get here, which is pretty exciting. What did I do? Well, basically, I just went with the basic flow that I know works, and you don't have to do a lot back and forth, which is that to add a quick login screen with some user authentication, and once they go to that, they go to a plain dashboard. That was step 1. You can imagine I'm using super basic because it integrates well, but you could easily do that on AWS as well with your own accounts and secret keys. In this case, after putting that together, I gave Lovable the basic idea of what I wanted on the dashboard. In this case, question with Jeff. I'd managed to generate this lovely picture of you, Jeff, beforehand from your LinkedIn in an anime Studio Ghibli style. So yeah, did that and then just gave it 3 features that I wanted. I'm a big fan of using lists when talking to an AI, and the main thing here was just making sure there's some sort of basic anti-cheat as well, so we don't have people like bombing questions. Pretty much after that, Lovable does all the heavy lifting. It makes the tables, it makes the layout. I used my Dita Rams prompt I was telling you guys about just to clean up the design, and then it was looking pretty flat and white, and I felt a bit embarrassed on this call, so I asked to implement a glass morphism design, which is just a design style that's kind of that's used a little bit in the web design world at the moment. So we're at that point. I'm just trying to see if I can buy Jeff prioritize his question with my $2. So I've been the first customer, guys. You'll be happy to hear. So the money comes back first. And I managed to make the payment successful as well. So and it looks like 2 people have spent money on Jeff's question. So we've got 2 people who prioritized it, which is awesome.
Wow.
So there you go, $4 to $4
We're in business
today.
We are in business. It's just a matter of scale now. It's just all about scale.
Yeah,
it's all about scale.
I am, and we're just entered the 30th minute of this stream. I guess that warrants a round of applause, folks. Let us know, like, share your love for Lovable with some comments, or like, I don't know, but this is absolutely beautiful. And I'll take the chance to pick up this question from Chonan Sai. Thank you so much for your question. So how expensive can Lovable get if we keep vibing all day? And I guess a more general question around that, do you have an idea of how much did it cost in terms of Lovable credits to actually develop this one? Because I do have a measure for my own app, but also I'm not as a power user as you are, so probably I tried to fix my cause issue many times.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you now exactly how many edits which we did, which were this morning from 10 a.m. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 prompts to get here. So I imagine credit usage, I'm sure Brenton can correct me, but very low, minimal. You wouldn't notice it, I think, in your day-to-day.
It'd be free if you stuck to 5 credits.
There you go.
Wow, that's and the Stripe. Can we zoom into the Stripe? I think the Stripe integration. I'm super curious, like, what that prompt was, and maybe. By the way, folks, this is also like publishing code to your GitHub repo, your own personal GitHub repository, and it's a private one, so like you can iterate on that even manually. I think the changes will be reflected on Lovable as well. But yeah, can you tell us a bit more about the payment I don't know why the word doesn't come, but I probably you heard, yeah. You know what I mean.
You've got it. So Lovable has a really cool integration with Stripe. That just means it knows how to build stuff with it. One of the things I provided to Lovable before the stream was my secret key, because I don't want to get out on stream and suddenly get a massive charge to my Stripe account. But when you prompt Lovable to do that in the chat, it will give you like a secure box to put your secret key in, and you can add it. Then it knows how to integrate with Stripe really cleanly. So all I had to ask it was, can you add 2 options, a $2 button so we can prioritize questions, and a $1 button so we can buy Jeff a coffee. Using my Stripe account, it goes and sets up everything that I need, the products, the payment links, the checkout screen, everything like that. And then in this case, very hacker vibes, it's added a redirect URL, which tells my front end, okay, this has been a prioritized question. Obviously, you might want to do something a little bit more scalable, a little bit more secure with webhooks or something in the future. But for now, we're able to take a payment within 10 minutes of prompting. So for me, mission accomplished. We build from here as we go.
So
Absolutely.
Harry, I actually have a question for you. You have built all of this without. I've seen little bits of reference to code and URLs and so forth in your conversation with Lovable. I haven't seen any code. Does the typical builder actually look at code, or is that an option, or do we typically just stay purely within the chat?
Fantastic question. I would say purely in the chat, but what's interesting, Jeff, and I think you alluded to it, is like it's good to have technical knowledge and understand like what's going on like under the hood, so you can direct it, right? Because at the end of the day, we're moving more to these like everybody's a project manager, not an engineer. and the engineer is actually Lovable, or the AI tool that we're using. So I think it's really good to like understand the basic concepts, like what is an API, what is a request, what is a response. But as you saw, I didn't need to touch any of the code or actually need to write any of it manually. I just needed to kind of direct the flows that we're going to focus on.
There is still a
I guess
button.
what another aspect of that is there actually code behind this? Like we could imagine something that really is not even code based. That's more kind of metadata or schema based, but there is code behind here.
There is, and it's all backed up by GitHub. So if we wanted to go and like download the repo, we could do. But as well as that, we can go up to the tools option here, hit code, and I can see a live preview of all of the bits. So if I don't want to write a prompt to change your name, for example, Jeff, or add a capital letter, I'd probably come in here and do it manually, obviously, because it's a little bit quicker. But I would say 9 times out of 10 with these tools, you don't really need to touch the code these days. They're pretty robust in building out good front ends overall.
Impressive.
Sounds great.
Okay. We have another great question that came in through our new site. It says, what are the best practices for integrating a Lovable app with AWS services like Lambda or RDS to create a scalable and efficient backend infrastructure? That kind of encapsulates a lot.
There you go. So
thank you for that.
This is kind of what I came through with, or came with I don't know, in a weekend, or like mad not coding, like mad vibing, but coding a little bit on AWS. So like this is what I'm actually thinking about. So as I was saying, like Lovable is hosting this single page application somewhere, right? And you actually want to maybe provide credentials that will authenticate you with your AWS account. Now, this is a very important security topic. We allow through Cognito, we actually allow you to specify what we call an IAM authenticated role for your identities. So let's say that let's say I am a user. I log in with a username and password. That's what we call a user that lives into a Cognito user pool. But then we have a separate concept called identity pool, and this is where actually the magic of trading off my identity as a user and an identity on AWS. Now, my identity on AWS is then going to be granted some permissions on the account, and IAM is a very sophisticated engine, like rule engine for granting permissions over my account. In this case, I've decided to lock down, for example, some of the S3, let's say S3 put and S3 get operations down to a subpath of my that is identified by my identity number, like my identity ID. So that means that I will only be able to read and write from a very specific path in my S3 bucket. So that's how I do it, and that's how I use I would say my UI to actually make an upload. I'll just show you how this looks like. And so if you well, let me just sign out, and hopefully I'll be able to sign up again.
So this is another Lovable app that you've already built for us.
Exactly, yeah. This the goal of this app is actually to take a video that I have on my laptop. This is a short clip from a TED Talk that I really like about the power of sleep. Not that I did too much last night. I was super excited. And let's see. So now what happening is that I successfully managed to upload my video to S3, and what happens is happening behind the scene is that a notification is picked up from S3 itself, and it's triggered. Let's go back to the architecture, a transcribe job. So this transcribe job is actually extracting it's a process called speech to text. Oh, sorry, wrong tab. And it's still going. I guess I can get you a view of what's happening. So there is a transcription in progress here. So transcribe is actually now looking at my video, understanding the audio, transcribing it. It will take some time, but once I have that, then there you go. I can actually start my AI analysis, and in here, what I'm doing is I'm just I have two prompt resets. One is to generate a blog post, and the other one is to generate a LinkedIn post. So the blog post is going to be a little bit more descriptive, and the LinkedIn post is going to be a little bit more catchy for like SEO reasons or like pleasing the algo gods, whatever you want. But there you go. So this is powered by Bedrock. And behind the scene, how this is actually working, we have a Lambda function, and I have enabled my front-end application to actually invoke the Lambda function through its URL. It's going to Bedrock and say, hey, can you please generate these two things, and getting that back. So my idea here in terms of building was actually using all of the metrics that are coming out naturally out of the service, and basically build you by megabytes uploaded, how many minutes you've transcribed, and tokens in and tokens out of Bedrock. Maybe just a little bit for the Lambda function, but the Lambda function is probably what's going to cost less in here. And then at the 20-30% profit on it, because whatever, I need to pay the bills, and then yeah, that's a happy me making a ton of dollars. And yeah, with Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is one of my favorite actors, I guess. So that would be it.
So you made
What?
all of this in a Lovable chat. Is that
Yeah,
fair to say?
no. So the
Okay.
front end, yes. The front end, yes. This is all. Are all my prompts, and I fell victim to my own not zooming in, but like, you know, I started with a very simple prompt. Let me just go back there. You can see all of my error. I was trying to, hey, can you please fix this course error here? I don't know how course works. I should be yeah.
Giuseppe, what surprised you whilst building with Lovable and combining it with AWS?
Well, so I had to steer it and say, no, I actually want to use AWS stuff. So that's something you folks need to work on, because otherwise no more streams with you. But but no, actually, you know what was actually super cool is that I could just like go in here and go and I guess, let me see, where's the what is the connected components, for example, in here, my authenticator, and I just like copy pasted all of this brutally.
Nice.
And Lovable was like, yep, gonna do that, no worries. So that's cool. I'm actually I might be having it somewhere around here. Oh, and also like I'm dropping in my Cognito of configuration. This is all public thing, by the way, like I'm not exposing any secrets in here. And actually the other thing was, with this approach, I didn't have to share any secrets with Lovable itself, because all of the trade-off of the credentials, they happen with the user. So it's actually the user path. There are some things that I still need to figure out in terms of like best practices for billing and security. For example, I think this approach wouldn't really work if I wanted to have like maybe a flat kind of of payment system. Like, say for example, I want you to pay $2.5 for every video that you're ingesting in here, because this would open up to like just invoking this Lambda function many times. So like I still need to find the right balance. Potentially it would be just like wrapping almost all of these functions into a Lambda function, so then I can have control over my billing functions and like the authentication of the like trading of the JWTs and stuff like that. But for now, my model would be, I'm going to use all of the metrics that AWS is providing me to bill you accordingly to what you build. So and again, like the thing that really surprised me was, it's really easy to like import context and like solve that specific issue. So I don't know if you've seen it, but I was like pasting also some let me see, yeah, there was like some errors. So I was just like, okay, I have an error here, I'm just like gonna paste the body of this error in here and make sure that you can fix it. So the cost as well. So I started with 100 credits plus 5 for a day. I think it's gonna be like 110 credits because I worked on this for 2 days. And this is I have 55 credits left, so not a huge deal of this. So yeah, that's really
Giuseppe, we have a really interesting, relevant question from Chonan Sai. They asked, can you share the prompts you use to build Transcript to Wisdom app? And I want to hear your answer. But also on your previous screen, you had basically an overview of go back to like the homepage of your app right there. The upload videos.
This one?
Could we actually think of that one sentence as the starter prompt?
Yeah, I would actually. You know, Chanan, actually, I would challenge you to try and replicate this because it's been super easy for me. So I would say, let's move up in here. This was my initial prompt. It is, I want you to create a front-end application that will make use of Amazon Cognito for authentication, Amazon Bedrock to have access to LLMs, Amazon Transcribe to get transcripts out of videos, Amazon S3 as a bucket to store videos that user will upload. Make use of the components from UI-docs.amplify, which is this website over here that I showed you. And that was the beginning of my journey. To be honest, what I had to do, I guess at a certain point, I had to drop the Amplify file browser. It's another connected component. Let me see where it is, or maybe just components. I don't know where components is not connected components. Yeah, the file uploader. I actually decided to go for a more minimal one from our Cloudscape design system. But that was the only thing I need to change. I think I had some issues with cause. Please, somebody send me some information about cause, because.
So I found that this idea of the prompts is one of the things I've had to kind of learn to get beyond with my use of AI tools. Is my developer brain keeps kicking in and saying like the exact precise prompt is so important, and you need to capture all your prompts and save them and keep your prompts under source code control, because you'll never get back to that same state again if you don't use that precise prompt. And that is like old school, old world, old guy thinking, basically. And the precision isn't as important anymore. Like you express your thought, you express your need, you express where you want to go, and getting that in there quickly. And I found even you can leave a typo or two. Like we learned for decades, some of us, like the slightest typo throws everything off the tracks. You'll never recover. And now it's like, just type it in at the speed you can think and type, and it'll figure it out for you and head you off in the right direction. And that's one of those hard to get past kind of things that gets ingrained in your mind over way too many years of like, yes, you want to say what you think and have really clean thought processes, but if in the process of turning that into letters and words, you make a little typo, no big deal, just keep on going.
Yeah, you say that. Wait till you have a snake and camel situation, but no,
I don't know what that is, but go for it.
Good. Stay that way, Jeff.
Okay.
But it's a uppercase, lowercase type.
Okay.
Generally, yes, you can mistype things. It's not going to be a problem. The LLMs work on a sort of an average of the information they're fed. So, I guess write as if you were the average person, and it will have no issue.
And there's a great Y Combinator video from some of the Y Combinator guys, and they talk about this concept of re-rolling. If you've ever re-rolled in like Dungeons and Dragons or something like that, you re-roll to try again for your turn. Similar with vibe coding, you can always just start from where it was working and just re-roll again and see if you can try again, see if you can fix it again.
Yeah, the beauty of having these, I say, non-deterministic beasts that LLMs are, or like to somewhat non-deterministic, and so I guess that's it from my side. But
we've got a handful of questions still.
Yeah.
I'll take a question here, which was given to us ahead of the time, so it's not one to pop up. But Daniel Quintero and Joanna Miller asked, how do you keep the balance between developing new features to match this growth and maintaining cohesion with a long-term plan? What's the secret of building fast without breaking stuff too much? For Lovable, we're still a very young company. We're less than a year old, and we still have that sort of founder's mindset of just ship things, iterate it, get feedback, get going. I guess we're fortunate in that we're not constrained by being a large enterprise just yet. But I guess the secret for us is we're consistently trying to break things. Dog fooding. We'll just use our product over and over until we can try and find issues with it ourselves. But even then, the best laid plans can fall to the wayside. Every launch is going to have some sort of issue, almost every launch, no matter how well it's planned. So we're very focused on user feedback. We're very engaged with our community. We've got a strong community of champions and beta testers and partners such as Harry, who love to be vocal and let us know whenever things are going wrong. So that's probably it for us. Just move quickly, get feedback, fix it.
That actually brings up, Brenton, a related question we have from Alex Tarasov that came up ahead of time. Alex asked, what is the role of AI code assistance in the development cycle of Lovable? So does it help with its own development in a way?
I'm not sure how they mean by AI code assistance. If they mean just the LLMs themselves, the Claude.
Exactly. Like, does Lovable build itself? Do you say, build me the next version of yourself, and it magically just does that for you? And
I can say some of the front end of the website's built, right, Brenton, from what I remember with Lovable.
Yeah, definitely. We don't have it building itself. We're not quite we're not quite there, Jeff, where it's just evolving on its own. It's, this artificial intelligence, and we have no control over it. It's not quite that. But no, we definitely believe in the tools that we use, and we'll use AI type tools to build our prototype, build our foundations, and then for anything that I guess is more technical, we've still got some of the best developers, best talent in the world. I think no one in the world is quite really at a point where 100% is vibe coded and they're an enterprise or a large business or anything like that. It's definitely something where you can build a majority of what you need to build and start fine tuning with something that's more technical. I guess at the end of the day, we're dealing with millions of customers, and we want to make sure things are as best as we could possibly make them. I think probably not quite there yet, not far off. Within a year, where I think you'll see a lot of large enterprises are using vibe coding tools, whether it's Lovable or otherwise, to build their production apps.
Sounds great.
Alex also had, sorry, one other thing. Alex also had another question here, which I did have a response for, which was, what are the 3 most requested features from customers? The 3 that I get the most, I see a smile on Harry's face, so I'm interested to know what he has to say. The 3 I get most are native mobile apps, so iOS or Android built apps, probably the number 1. Import from GitHub and MCP servers. Now, the MCP servers is one that we're in the process of releasing. So we're in the process of doing some beta testing. That will be out soon. From there, you'll be able to connect to a bunch of services that we didn't already have integrations with. It's a much easier connection process. The native mobile apps is more of a long-term vision. I think we'd love to be there eventually, but it's not the priority right now. We just want to be able to build the best product we can for web apps, and then we'll be able to focus on the mobile apps after that. The last one, import from GitHub. That's a messy process. I think we will get there eventually. It's very tricky because obviously Lovable only builds in certain codes. It only doesn't use everything that people are going to have built. So I guess we have to be able to validate that what people are importing works on Lovable before we import it. Sure. Now, Harry, what were you smiling for? Tell me what was on your mind. Top 3 most asked questions from your most wanted features, perhaps.
I've seen the product grow over the last 2 years, so I feel like I've been listened a lot and ignored a lot as well. And I think that I would be biased in saying that I wouldn't want more speed, but I think inference speed only comes as fast as we build data centers. So I think for now we're going to be stuck at the same speeds with AI model providers. So yeah. The other one is MCP, which you guys are releasing, which is awesome. I think it's going to open a lot of integrations for Lovable, especially around, like, for example, we saw me doing Stripe today and I needed to make a webhook. That's something I have to manually do at the moment and go into Stripe and set it up and figure it out. And for a non-technical founder, that's quite like a big hurdle to overcome. And I think the adoption of MCP is really going to enable us to have cool parts where, like, Lovable will be able to go set up that webhook inside Stripe, and you won't need to wait for Lovable to release the next, like, feature around Stripe to be able to do that. Instead, like if somebody updates the Stripe MCP server, then we're going to get like an extra feature there. So I'm super pumped.
Yeah.
No pressure on timelines, Brenton, but
Yeah.
very pumped.
And sorry, folks. We're coming to the end of the hour. So I wanted to thank you all for staying with us. Jeff, thank you so much. Harry, Brenton, this has been epic, as somebody was saying in the comment. So just a few announcements for the next week. So we'll be chatting about generative AI in gaming experience with the team behind Unraveling Shadows, one of the first Gen AI powered online game developed here at AWS. And then we will have our friends from Hydraulics who built a real-time streaming data lake powering the live streaming of the Super Bowl, whatever that is. I guess the folks from the US will have to help me out with this. But they have crunched more than 200 terabytes in data in real time. So stay tuned. Next week we'll be here again, 6 a.m. I think Seattle time, 9 a.m. East time, and 2 p.m. BST. Folks, this has been incredible. I have unfortunately to close the stream here. But again, thank you so much for being with us, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Cheers, everyone.